And it's pretty hard to get a fly that will, number one, float, but number two, will imitate the midge. And this is a dry midge. You might pass it around. What I'll do is, rather than tie it and show it to you, I'll just show it to you to begin with, and then we'll tie it. The tail on this midge is Zelon, which is just, you can use that, you can use Antron, it doesn't matter much. It's got a very short tail on it, and this fly came to pass because I didn't have a fly that I could trust would imitate the midge. I use a pinch method when you're putting a material on that you want to stay in one place. If you pinch the hook and the material, and don't, when you go around the hook, don't release that pinch. Make the thread go between your fingers. When you do that, well, now I just screwed it up, but when you do that, you can get that material to stay right on the top of the hook. There's a tendency every time you take a wrap of thread to push that material to the other side of the hook. But one way to counter that is to actually lift it off the hook a little bit, and so all of that energy is dispelled in pulling that material back down on top of the hook. And that makes it pretty easy. Like I say, normally a normal tail on a dry fly is going to be about the length of the shaft of the hook. By the way, if you have questions, ask them anytime you want. This is more like about half. And again, you know, I really like patterns that are easy to tie. I'm going to use some closed cell foam, black, and I'm going to tie it in right where the tail starts. And I've cut a little angle on that, like a little 45. And again, using the pinch method, I can tie that in right on the very top of the hook. Very simple fly, very simple. You need a the only difficulty is you need a hackle that's big enough, or small, I should say small enough to work for these little patterns. And luckily we can buy those nowadays with our genetic chickens downstairs. I will tie that in. Then I will palmer that hackle, which is to just spiral it forward in about 10 spirals. I'm going to tie that off. I tie it off on top just because we're going to bring that closed cell foam back over the top. The purpose of that closed cell foam is to make this pattern float like a cork. And indeed it does. Now, if you're one of these, what was your name again?
Jake.
Jake? If you've got Jake size, you don't need to do this. If you have my eyes, you need something to help you a bit. And that help is going to come in the form of some, I like burnt orange for something to see on the river. There's too many white flecks and stuff on the river, and I don't have, you know, I don't see white things very well on the surface of the water, especially in small patterns. And so what I'm going to do here,
we've got lots of chartreuse, lake chartreuse.
Chartreuse is good. I like burnt orange. That's my color. So I'm going to tie some right on top, right at the head. Then I'm going to tie in front of that head. And like I say, gosh, what an easy pattern to tie. And then I'm going to whip finish it, and you can whip finish it either with a tool, or you can whip finish it with your hand, or you can whip finish it any way you want to. Except don't whip finish it the way I just did. Okay, we got that. And then you can cut it off however you want it so that you can see that fly in the water. Now, actually, for midge fishing, that is just a little bit big. It's